So last week, we had the debt limit and all the reasons why it needed to be lifted. Basically, to pay for the infrastructure bill that's being held hostage by progressives, and to pay for the social spending program that's being held hostage by moderate Democrats. Adding to the mix this week is mint the coin. Okay, so I saw mint the coin and I'm thinking, are we talking about Bitcoin? I know that Joe Biden and his administration are not warm to the concepts of cryptocurrency. China flat out outlawed cryptocurrency because it was losing too much money, whereas Ukraine and El Salvador have embraced cryptocurrency. It is legal tender in El Salvador, and Ukraine is moving in that direction. Well, when I looked up what mint the coin really meant, it had nothing to do with Bitcoin. It had to do with something called a $1 trillion platinum coin. Well, first of all, I looked up the spot price of platinum, and it was nowhere near $1 trillion. It was somewhere above gold. So I started researching what this means. The $1 trillion coin comes from, originally it comes from a law that was passed for commemorative coins, which allows platinum coins to be created for commemorative purposes in any denomination the Treasury Secretary wants. Has nothing to do with creating an absurdly large valued coin in order to solve a fiscal crisis. But misusing the law has never been a problem for the federal government. As long as the words on the page are being met, it tends to use the law however it sees fit to accomplish whatever goal it sees fit. So we have a law for commemorative coins being repurposed to solve our fiscal crisis. We've basically put Franklin Mint in charge of the United States Mint. The way this would solve our fiscal crisis is that the Treasury is in charge of creating money, creating currency, and managing the dissemination of currency. It's in charge of the U.S. Mint. The Federal Reserve is in charge of creating credit. And I'm not going to go into the esoteric details of why those are different. Long story short, one entity prints the money, the other entity lends credit. And as you know, the amount of credit in our economy vastly exceeds the amount of currency. Well, the way the $1 trillion coin works is the Treasury creates a coin and then sends it over to the Federal Reserve, which credits the United States government for an additional $1 trillion. That has the effect of raising the debt limit by $1 trillion, meaning the government can go off and spend another $1 trillion and not run afoul of its own debt limit laws. To me, I have a very basic question. How is that any different than quantitative easing, where billions and even trillions of dollars was injected into the economy and then eventually pulled out? The difference being that quantitative easing is a complicated financial concept that takes smart people to implement, and it takes smart people to understand. And it has been my observation that stupid people don't tend to mess with things that require smart people to implement. The $1 trillion coin, however, is both something a stupid person can understand, and it's a process a stupid person can manage. A stupid president could say, go mint me $2 trillion coins and put them in the Federal Reserve. I got to pay for a new planet I want to colonize. That, to me, it exposes one of the implicit dangers of the $1 trillion coins. It's too easy, and it's too easily understood by people that are otherwise complete morons. There are other aspects of the $1 trillion coin that just kind of bug me. For instance, how do you prevent counterfeiting? Who's to say which $1 trillion coin is the valid $1 trillion coin? What's to keep somebody from getting a whole bunch of blanks and printing as many $1 trillion coins as they want? Are you going to have to lace each $1 trillion coin with some amount of radiation or radioactive isotopes so that unless a Geiger counter starts pinging, you know that your $1 trillion coin is a counterfeit? The other thing about the $1 trillion coin that I just gotta ask, whose face is going to go on it? Because you sure as hell know that if Donald Trump gets reelected, he's going to put his face on the $1 trillion coin.